The Babyliss FX02 file shaver is primarily a barber's tool. However, the Babyliss Pro does have the potential to be a solo facial shaver or a solo head shaver, or both of those, as well as it being a professional barber's tool for doing fades. And another, however, it's not going to suit everybody. It's not going to suit all guys. It's a very aggressive type of shaver that gives us a really close shave, especially with having a head shave. However, like I've said, plenty of however's here, isn't it? It's not going to suit all guys, but I'll cover all that in the video. Quick mention about models, because they have different model names for country-specific model names. Now, we've got the FX02, then we've got the Metal FX, and then in the UK they've got the Babyliss Pro Titanium, and they are all the same shaver really. Apart from the titanium is supposed to have titanium files. However, I wouldn't get into that too much. There's not going to be a great amount of difference with the shave end result or shave experience. But yeah, just to note that if you're looking at a metal FX, an FX02, or a titanium, this is the same shaver. This one I've got here is a really nice kind of gunmetal finish on it. You always get a gold colour and some other finishes, and it's got a great finish on it. And this is also the titanium model, because I purchased this from the UK. I got it sent over here where I am at the moment in Thailand, and got this sent out from the UK rather than get a US one. I just kind of fancied this gunmetal style one. Briefly about costs in the USA, I just use USA prices. In the USA, you pick one of these up between 120 and 160 US dollars. Also have to consider the replacement files and cutters. The replacement files and cutters cost around about 35 US dollars if you buy the original ones. And there's no real documentation from Babyliss on how often we should replace them, but I did find some information which was around about 3 to 6 months. I'd kind of aim more between 6 and 12 months, and that's always dependent upon how frequently we use it in the courses of our hair. We also do get an extra, or I did with this, I got an extra file. I got an extra file cassette. However, I never got extra blades. That potentially is they give it us, and it's useful for that. These files can knacker up sometimes. They're quite sensitive. So maybe it's just like a backup for that, that's useful to have. So ergonomics and design, as expected with a barber style cleaning up type of shaver, it's got no real ergonomics. It's a kind of block, and it's very heavy. I think it's about 240 grams or something like that. But it's extremely weighty, but it looks great. It's got a real great appearance to it, and I like that solid feel. However, it can be a little bit weighty for some guys, especially shaving the head and having to shave a period of time. That may get a little bit of wrist fatigue or something like that. But for the barber, it doesn't matter. The barber that shaving somebody else's head, finishing off their haircut. It doesn't really matter about that type of ergonomics. But us using it solo ourselves, self-cutting or self-shaving, should I say, the design is not great, especially thinking about head shaving. We kind of need something that holds well in the hand really, and it's very blocky, should I say. There's also no rubberized grip or matte finish on it at all, so if your hands get a bit wet, it could be a bit slippy and slip out the hand. The power and sound, without a doubt, it's extremely powerful shaver, especially 10,000 RPMs. It's very powerful shave, and you can tell how powerful it is just when I switch it on. I'm going to switch it on now and have a listen to the power of it. The button for this is just a button at the side here that we kind of slide up. We slide the button up. It's a little bit stiff actually, but it can't accidentally be pressed on or off. So here's the sound of the power. So that's quite stiff, that is. So if you think your Braun Series 9 Pro or Arc 5 shavers are a bit noisy, then you're getting an extra bit of noise with one of them. If you take a closer look at these files, we'll see that these are they're quite a bit larger than your standard files that you kind of get on a Braun Series 9 or something like that. They're a little bit wider, a little bit longer, and they're good for its intended purpose of doing fades and that kind of work. These files are staggered, so you see one is higher than the other file, and these flexing enough so that's good for shaving along various contours and keeping the files close to the skin, maintaining skin contact. This file head is easy enough to remove. We have a button on the side there. We just press that button in, and the top cap will come off. Inside there we have 2 cutters. Now these cutters are also quite easy enough to remove, and we just prise one open like so, and then another one off like so, and we end up with these 2 prongs. And when we're replacing them, there is a slat in the middle of this cutter, and then there's a line on the top of each of these struts, and we just have to line them up to put them back on. And if your eyesight's not quite as good like mine, then you might need to pop some glasses on and be able to see where this line matches up with the cutter. There we go, that one's on. Then pop the other one on, if I can see it properly. Yeah, there we go, both are back on. And this cord is I hate saying this word, proprietary. You know, it's not Type-C or anything like that, or USB. You know, it has to have the right fitting onto the shaver. If you like wet shaving with an electric shaver, then this is not waterproof, so you can't wet shave with this at all. Pretty easy to clean. I'd make sure you clean it after every use. What I do is I kind of pop the top cap off, and I give the cassette, file cassette, a good brush out first, and mainly a blowout. I blow a lot of the debris out with my mouth. Then for the cutters, all I do is give them a brush over in the same direction of the blades, because I don't go across the blades in case that it affects them and blunts them at all. And then underneath the blade section as well, I give that a brush out and give it a wipe with some tissue. Also, for a bit more of a clean up, what I would do as well after a few shaves or so is I put a bit of antibacterial soap in this file cassette, and then give that a wash under the tap, under the faucet, and then let it dry for a little bit before popping it back on. I also regularly, and you can do this after every shave, is I put a spot of oil onto the cutters, and that's pretty easy. All we do is put a couple of spots on each of the cutters. Try not to put too much, I sometimes go over the top with that. And then let the shaver run for around about 10 seconds or so. Let that oil get into the cutters, along the cut as well. Then after that, what I do is I just give the underneath the cutters, give that a wipe around with some tissue, because there will be some leftover oil. And that's it, the maintenance and cleaning is done. You might need to clean around this section here, this grey section around there, because hairs and debris get caught around there. Give that a wipe off. The LED lights are as simple as you can get. On the bottom of the shaver, there is one LED light. When we put it on charge, this light will flash, and when it's fully charged, it will remain constant and stop flashing. So shaving, well, if you're a barber, I probably don't need to tell you that this is an excellent tool for doing fades, clearing up the back of the neck, clearing up after doing a haircut. So it'll also be useful for anybody who does home hair cutting, to clear up after as well. That'd be great for that. However, when I did the back of my neck, and I tested it out just doing fading the sides by myself, it was okay. The back of the neck a little bit tricky because of this design and you know, how it feels, the weight of it, and having no grip on it. But as a barber's tool, I don't need to say much more on that. You barber guys know more than me on that matter. So facial shaving, I tested it out shaving with about 3 days of growth, 2 days of growth, and shaving daily. On 3 days of growth, it's just too much. It will cut the hair, but I had lots of leftover hairs here, and then the corner here as well, and it just took way too long to shave. So this is most definitely best used as a daily shaver or every 2 days. The only thing with shaving daily is that you need to be a person that doesn't pick up irritation easy, because this is quite aggressive. It's quite an aggressive shaver, which is brilliant for a close shave, but it's not brilliant for not getting irritation, not getting flare-ups. It is a little bit more odd compared to using like another shaver with a much better grip and control with the hand compared to this, but you know, it was doable, and it went along the contours of the chin area and the jaw area well enough with these flexy kind of files. The speed of shaving maybe daily or every 2 days was okay. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I still did have to keep on 2 days, still have to go over the same areas twice, but that's kind of sort of standard with me with electric shavers. But I don't think I wouldn't be giving up one of my Phillips too fast for this. Even the end result, while it gives a brilliant close head shave and can give a close facial shave, I didn't find it was giving me a close enough shave quick enough and with ease as what a Phillips type of shave would do, or you know, the Braun or the R5 and other shavers, you know, and with comfort as well. It's not the most comfortable shaver for my face compared to the others, but that's me. I know some of you guys out there love this kind of shave because you're primarily chasing closeness. You're like, right, that's close. I'm not. I love a close shave. You know, I go after it, but I recognise when I'm going over the top and it's taking too long with a certain shaver, and it's better to not be quite as close, not have quite a close finish. So for head shaving, this could be used two ways for head shaving. How I see it, what we could do is use a rotary style rotary style head shaver at first, you know, and go give it a good once over, because these deal with going around the back of the head and that much more easily, and then clear up with this. Or if, as some guys do, use this solely as a head shaver, this only as a head shaver. When I tested this out and I had 3 days of growth on my head, it just took way too long doing the back of the head. I kept going over and over because the back of my head has, I forget what we call them, but it has kind of lumps, just the back of the skull. Because it has quite a lot of lumps in it there, this just really struggles. It eventually gets there. But when I head shaved daily, or every 2 days, it was much easier. And the great thing about head shaving is it's a brilliant finish. It's a much closer finish than what I get from the rotary style dedicated head shavers. But the rotary style dedicated head shavers come with just that ease of use, a larger blade span where you can cover more area. Yeah, it depends what you're going for. If you're going for closest is right at the top of your list of what you would like, then yeah, this is going to do that. But if it's not, if comfort and other factors are more important, like they are for me, then you'd go for a dedicated shaver. And if I fancied it, then I could do it with a dedicated do my head with a dedicated shaver. Then, like I say, clear it up with one of these, and it would be less expensive to have one of these dedicated head shavers plus this, or something like the Babyliss Profile or the Aber Light Touch 2 that I recently did a video for, than having something like a Braun Series 9 Pro, which is overboard in being a great facial shave if you're not going to use it for facial shaving. But when I used a rotary shaver and finished off with this, I got a real great close finish. And when I did it daily, for a few days daily, then yeah, it just kept giving me a really close shave. Close, like very similar to a manual razor. I nearly forgot to mention as well, when I was going along the contours there, because it does contour quite well on the other areas of the head, but going along here, I only have kind of very faint hair there, very light hair, but it kind of seemed like it struggled a bit, not like the same as a dedicated head shaver. It kind of struggled not to keep going over and over in a particular way to clear that up, but that's just worth mentioning. Okay, well, wrapping up, I usually do a full shave and show that a full shave on the video because I had to cover barbering, touching up jobs, head shaving and face shave. If I'd wrap it into one and try and cover it that way and see how this video goes. So the bottom line, I reckon, for a barber, excellent barbering tool. For facial shaving, you may get away with it. It might be okay with you if you have maybe quite light hair, or your skin does not pick up irritation quite easily. You get a nice decent close shave of this. For head shaving for myself, I'd rather stick with a dedicated rotary style head shaver and have not quite that close shave finish where we get that very slight stubble, that sandpaper feel. Or one of the viewers in the comments said it's like a cat's tongue feeling, and that explains it very well. I'd rather be left with that, or if I think I really want to have it closer, then shave with that and then finish off with this. But I know some of you guys, you're going to be fine with just this for head shaving. Anyway, that wraps it up. So next couple of videos coming up is going to be for head shaving. It's going to be for this new, I was going to say Panasonic. It's a skull shaver palm, so the cheapest one. And I'm going to put the 4 blades with it now, rather than the previous palm, which had 3 blades. We're going to do a video on this this new Phillips 3000 body groomer, which has been has been really good so far. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope the video has been helpful, and as always, if possible, hit the subscribe button. If you need further information about this shaver or any of the shavers, I'll drop plenty of links in the description which goes to my website shavingadvisor.com, where there's a load of other reviews that you can take a look at and extra information on all of these reviews that I do.